The diner was quiet, except for the soft hum of an old jukebox and the trembling sobs of a little girl clutching a green stuffed toy. Morning light spilled through the blinds, striping the black and white floor where a half-empty wine bottle rolled and stopped at her feet. A man in a white shirt, sleeves rolled high, towered over her. His face flushed with anger, his belt dangling from his fist. The air felt heavy, like even time was afraid to move. In one corner, a group of bikers sat frozen. One of them, broad shoulders, weathered hands, and a gray beard tucked beneath a bandana, slowly rose. His boots echoed down the tiles, each step cutting through the silence. People held their breath. The man with the belt didn't notice, not yet. But the moment the biker's shadow reached that trembling child, everything in that diner began to change. If this moment touched your heart, take a second to like, comment, and subscribe to Everyday Kindness, because every story here reminds us that compassion can change a life. The man's hand trembled as he tightened his grip on the belt. His voice was low, almost shaking with fury. "Do you have any idea what you've done, Lily?" he hissed. The little girl, no older than 6, could barely speak. Her blue dress was stained from the spilled wine that still glistened on the floor. I didn't mean to, Daddy. The bottle fell," she whispered, tears streaking her cheeks. People in the diner looked away, pretending to sip coffee, hoping someone else would act. But the man in the leather vest didn't look away. His name was Hale, a man whose life had been more road than rest, more loss than comfort. His boots echoed closer as he watched the man raise his belt, the metal buckle glinting in the morning light. "Put it down," Hale said quietly. His voice didn't shout, it cut through the room like a warning. The father froze. He turned, meeting eyes that had seen more storms than sunshine. "Stay out of this," he spat, his anger trembling beneath his pride. "This is between me and my daughter." Hale took one more step. "It stopped being just between you two," he said, his tone calm but dangerous. "The second you made her cry in front of the world." For a second, silence ruled the room. Only the slow drip of spilled wine filled the air. Hale looked down at the trembling girl, then at the man who called himself her father. "I used to be you," Hale murmured, "angry at everything I couldn't fix. Thought hurting someone smaller made me strong. I was wrong." The man's eyes flickered. His jaw clenched, but behind his rage, something cracked. The diner watched, spellbound, as the belt slowly lowered, shaking in his hand. Lily's tiny fingers gripped Hale's boot. Her tears mixed with dust and wine. Her little voice barely audible. "Thank you, mister." Hale knelt beside her. "No one deserves to be afraid of love," he whispered. He took off his leather jacket and wrapped it around her trembling shoulders. Then he turned to the father. "She's not your punching bag. She's your second chance." The words landed heavy. The father's lips trembled, guilt flooding the anger out of him. His eyes burned as if seeing his daughter for the first time not as a mistake, but as a miracle. He dropped the belt, the clatter echoing like a gunshot of regret. Hale stood tall. "Apologize to her," he said softly. "Not because I'm asking. Because she deserves to hear it." The man fell to his knees, his face crumbling. "I'm sorry, Lily. I'm so sorry." The diner stayed silent, but something in the air shifted like the whole world exhaled at once. Hale looked around at the faces frozen in awe and pain. "Sometimes," he said, "it takes a stranger to remind us what love is supposed to look like." Outside, the sun was higher now, painting the parking lot in gold. Hale walked toward his bike, a Harley that had seen better years, and paused. His hand shook slightly as he pulled on his gloves. He could still hear Lily's sobs in his head. Memories came rushing back. His daughter, Grace, 12 years old, crying in a rain-soaked kitchen. His own voice shouting things he could never take back. His wife's silence. The door slamming behind them. He never got to apologize. They moved across the country, and he drowned the guilt in open roads and whiskey. But that morning in the diner, something shifted. It was as if the world had given him one small chance to make peace with the man he once was. He started the bike, the engine growling like thunder waking from sleep. For the first time in years, his heart didn't feel as heavy. A week later, the same diner buzzed again with life. The waitress, Mara, placed flowers on a counter near the window, a small gesture to make the place feel brighter. Outside, Mark and Lily sat on a bench. She was coloring on a napkin, her frog beside her. Mark had traded the whiskey for coffee, and the tired look in his eyes had softened. When Hale's bike pulled up again, Lily's face lit up. She ran to the door before her father could even stand. "Mr. Hale," she cried. "I drew something for you." He chuckled, kneeling to her height. She handed him a folded paper with crayon marks, all over. A big man with a beard, a little girl with pigtails, and a sun smiling above them. "That's you," she said proudly. "And that's me." Hale smiled, his throat tightening. "It's perfect, kiddo." Mark approached, his hand extended. "You saved me that day," he said. "I don't know how to thank you." Hale shook his head. "You don't need to, just keep saving her." They stood in silence, a quiet understanding passing between them. Two broken men who had finally found the courage to be better. That night, Hale rode out of town. The stars stretched endless above him, the highway whispering beneath his tires. He stopped by a small roadside chapel, the kind that stayed open for wanderers. Inside, he lit a candle, its glow trembling in the dark. "For Grace," he whispered. "Wherever you are." He smiled, faintly. For the first time in years, it didn't hurt to say her name. Months passed. The diner became a small landmark. Locals called it the day kindness stopped the belt. Mark turned his life around, working as a mechanic for the bikers club Hale had once ridden with. He started a community program for single fathers learning to heal. People who used to cross the street to avoid him now greeted him with warmth. Lily grew bolder, her laughter filling the diner every morning. She carried the green frog everywhere and told everyone, "A hero with a bike gave me this jacket." Mara, the waitress, started a fundraiser for families in crisis. On the counter, she framed the crayon drawing Lily made, the one of Hale and her under the sun. One evening, a group of bikers stopped by the diner. They left behind a small envelope. Inside was a note written in neat handwriting. "For the little girl who reminded me that second. Chances don't come to those who deserve them. They come to those who believe they can change." Hale. There was no address, no signature beyond that name. But everyone knew. If this story reminded you that everyone deserves a second chance, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because kindness shared is kindness multiplied. Have you ever seen forgiveness change someone's heart? The narrator's voice softens as the scene fades to a warm sunset over the diner sign. Real strength isn't in the hand that strikes, it's in the one that protects. And somewhere on the open road, a biker rides on, not to escape his past, but to make peace with it. One act of kindness at a time.